Yo, what's up with it, y'all? It's JD and I'm back with another quick video. In today's video, I'm gonna do my burpee routine with you guys. So every morning, to start my workout, my warm-up is usually 100 burpees. So, 100 burpees is a lot for most people. And I'll say if you're somebody who's just now starting your fitness and health journey, 100 burpees is probably, way more than you should be doing in one particular day. So what I would recommend is that maybe your total workout could be like 50 burpees, or your total workout could be like 40 burpees, and then maybe add on like, I don't know, maybe like 25 to 30 pull-ups if you're just now starting out. Or if you're somebody who's been working out for a minute, a total workout could be 100 burpees and 50 pull-ups. Now, for me, 100 burpees is a warm-up, 50 pull-ups is just an aspect of the workout, but there's different levels to it. And I actually kind of wanted to speak on that today as well. And maybe not so much on the fitness side, but just in terms of just the personal growth side, in terms of not being ashamed of where you come from. So, we all start off at a certain point, and then, through this journey, we grow and we expand, and a lot of times our belief systems, our ideologies grow and expand as well. And for me personally, I can look back on some of the things that, I might have said in the past, or some of the belief systems that I might have held, or maybe even just some of the energy that I was coming with, and I could actually be ashamed of, maybe some of the things that I said, or some of the, the things that might have been going through my head at the time. But at the end of the day, I'm not ashamed of it, because it was just who I was at that moment. I've grown, I've gotten better, I've learned, I've gotten wiser, and these are things that we need to take account of and not be ashamed of. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna start my first set of these burpees, and then after that, continue this conversation. So now back to it. As far as not being ashamed of where we come from, you could look at it on a physical tip as well, just in terms of, say for instance, you're somebody who wants to go through like a fitness transformation, or you're somebody who has went through a fitness transformation. You might look back at yourself, some old pictures of yourself when you were overweight or when you were super skinny, and you look back and be like, oh man, I'm ashamed that I look like that. It's like, you shouldn't be ashamed of that. You should actually be proud of how far you've come, or be proud of how far you've come from that point, how much healthier you've gotten, how much you've built up your, your mental toughness, how much you've built up your physique, different things like that. So, and when it comes down to the mental aspect of it, like some of your philosophies and, how much wisdom you've gained, we should not be the same person we were a year ago. We shouldn't be the same person we were 5 years ago. For myself in particular, I was a completely different person like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was wild. And shit, to be completely honest with you, I was pretty uncivilized like 10 years ago. My energy was completely different. I was operating on like an anger and like just a different negative frequency that I'm completely not operating on it at all right now. Like my frequency is more on like chill and like a love frequency. So you shouldn't look back at yourself and be ashamed of that. Like I can look back at myself and see that I was a completely different person, but I'm also not ashamed of it. You know what I mean? It's just where I was at. We all go through different traumas in our life, and in order to grow from those traumas, we have to kind of grow out of things. There's always like growing pains that come along with the territory as well, and you shouldn't be ashamed of that. Like even if you check out my older YouTube videos, I might have been operating a little bit different. You might notice that I had a different energy about me if you look at my videos from maybe like when I first started, or maybe even like a year ago, or maybe even 6 months ago. My vibe is different, you know what I mean? My talking points are different. and that's a good thing. I wouldn't take down those videos because I might not agree with the message that I put out before. I actually would like those videos to stay up so people can kind of see my growth journey and see like, hey, look, this dude kind of thought this way at this point, but now look at where he's at right now. Look at what he's talking about right now. All right, enough talking. Time to get to the second, okay? So just like mentality and just like mentally, physically, spiritually, we can't be ashamed of where we came from. We also can't be ashamed of where we actually came from, like our direct environment. Let's just say, for instance, you come from like a rich background, or let's just say, for instance, you come from a low income background, or even let's just say you come from a middle class background, which is probably what the majority of people are coming from. You know, you can't be ashamed of your background because it's just who you are. But just having perspective and being able to adapt to people around you is, you know, an important thing. But you can't be ashamed of where you come from. You kind of got to embrace it. And I know for me personally, at certain times in my life, you know, especially as I've like went out into the world, you know, been around all different types of people. I've been around people who are super rich. I've been around people who come from nothing, from poverty. And, you know, before, sometimes I kind of will feel some type of way about it. It's like when you get around the people who come from like a super impoverished area, like maybe when you go to a country where, you know, some type of third world country or something like that, you almost feel guilty for, you know, growing up privileged to a certain extent. And you're like, oh, damn, like shit. It just, all it is really, it just gives you perspective. And the same thing for if you know, spend some time around some rich people. And it's like, you might feel ashamed of like, damn, I didn't grow up with any of this type of stuff, you know, or you might not feel like you're cultured enough, or you might not feel like you're educated enough, but it's nothing necessarily to feel ashamed of. It's just happens to be your journey individually. And, you know, we all don't start off at the same point. We all don't start off at the same point physically. We all don't start off at the same point financially. You know, we all look different. We come from different racial, ethnic, you know, nationalities, different backgrounds like that. So this is just your starting point, but your starting point doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of life, because we should always be trying to grow. You know what I mean? Sometimes we're gonna have spurts where we're gonna have rapid growth. Sometimes it's gonna come down a little bit. Sometimes it's kind of be a plateau effect, but we should always be trending upwards. You know what I mean? So there's nothing to be ashamed of from where you come from in that aspect as well. I'm about to get one more set of burpees and probably end this talk, but I'm gonna do like 30 burpees with you guys. All right, so the last aspect of, you know, not being ashamed of where you come from is not understanding things on a spiritual level. You know, I feel like spirituality is something that's kind of hard to tap into, especially in, you know, the times that we're living in right now, where everybody's so caught up in social media. We're in a digital age, we're in the information age, and a lot of times we have like an information overload. So we're constantly consuming. Our diet is constantly filled with new information, you know, validation from other people. We always have all this energy coming from all over the place. So as far as connecting with your spirituality and, you know, becoming awake spiritually is something that's extremely difficult. So once you actually do get to the point, and for me personally, spiritually, I'm like in my infancy right now. So I'm not even really, I don't claim to be a guru or anything like that, or some, you know, super enlightened person or anything like that. But I will say that I'm starting to become more and more awake spiritually. But just because I might not have been at this level 5 years ago, it doesn't mean that I should be ashamed of where I was at 5 years ago. Or even if you're not even coming into that spirituality, or, you know, getting in touch with your spiritual side, you know, right now, you can't really be ashamed of it. It's just, you know, it's just where you at. So as far as that goes, as far as it all goes, really, you can't be ashamed of where you come from. You're not a finished product, you know what I mean? That's what life is all about, is just getting better and better and better. Learning more, learning more, learning more, growing more and growing more and growing more. Growing more mentally, physically, and spiritually. You know what I mean? We're always a work in progress, and we should never think that we got the answers to everything, you know, on any of these levels. But anyways, guys, I hope everybody's having a great day. I'll holler at you guys later. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. If you guys are interested in getting in the best shape of your life, go ahead and hit my website up, book a free consultation with me. That's Travelsthenix.com. We can map out a blueprint, chop up game. You know, we don't only have to talk about the physical growth, we can talk about the mental and spiritual growth as well. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.